Within the human psyche is a secret passageway and door. It's the door to your deepest pain. This is why people think that I'm mocking things, because I'm being seductive around something that is really taboo, because I'm a fucking kink. Okay? Hi, I'm Morgan. Welcome to the channel. So listen to me. There is a door within your psyche that holds your deepest pain. It holds your deepest shame. And it actually holds your most self-destructive aspects, the self-destructive drive. And I'm just going to call it out. It's the suicide mind. And so today's video is going to be talking about it, because what I've realized most recently is that that door is the gold vault to some next level healing skills and abilities that I've never tapped into, and I'm sure plenty of people have not tapped into, because it is like the biggest taboo in the whole world to look at. And so today we are going to talk about it. I'm going to use this book that recently came into my experience called How Not to Kill Yourself, A Portrait of the Suicide Mind by Clancy Martin. Very, very interesting book. Only read a little bit, but we're going to use just a little bit of the book to give us a framework. I already said I'm Morgan, but yeah, welcome to the Feminine Soul Path, Intuitive Healing Arts. We are aligning our life with our intuition and our inner guidance, and clearing whatever else is in the way of that. And so as I was going down this process, as things were coming up for me on one of my days, this is where we hit and this is where we went in. So here we go. When this thing was coming up, instead of doing talk therapy, which is my classic, not with a psychotherapist, but with myself, I usually will do inner child shadow or talk therapy with it, like, I'm here, okay, this kind of thing. But instead I did these two things. Number one, I took this quote from the book that says, and this was a therapist's conversation to him, it says, "Yes, it really sucks to be human. So don't be afraid to admit that. Feel sorry for yourself. Feel sorry for us all." And I turned that towards fully facing the self-destruction inside me. I literally just was like, boop. And I felt sorry. Felt sorry for it. I felt sorry for me. I just allowed that to happen. I just allowed it, and I kept on allowing it and allowing it. And while doing that, the number two thing I did was I opened up and started to face and feel the intense physical sensations of suffering and pain in my being, okay? So I'm sending this to the mind, holding this for the mind, and then feeling this within the body. And so my capacity to feel uncomfortable sensation expanded. And I entered this profound state of melting into intense amounts of suffering. Okay, so I spent a day in suffering and pain. And I wasn't just feeling through my own. I think I was feeling through all the stuck, and then also the culture and the collective. So after this day, and I was fasting, and I took away pleasure and dopamine for myself, and I was just there with the bare feelings, okay? And so the next day, I woke up with so much compassion and just this ability to just see the human race differently, and just have just compassion for myself that I was never able to fully get, right? I wasn't there yet. I couldn't unlock it yet. And so from then on, I became like a fisherman. This is from the quote from the book. I became like a fisherman in an empty sea where there is no fish, and you finally found one, and you're delighted to catch it. This changed my meditation and prayer practice, this frame, because what that quote is talking about is from a Vinyasa meditation, I think a Lama or something. He said in the book that really all you have to do is not run away or not try to hide it, just literally just observe it. And through the process of observing, you'll discover more and you'll grow more. And So, you're doing that with intense suffering and then or intense emotions, and all of a sudden, each time you sit in it, and then you have these effects, right? You have these profound development of effects on your healing ability and your capacity to face truth. So what happens is you begin to look for these sensations and you begin to observe them, and when you find them, you feel like a fisherman who just caught a fish and you're delighted. That's the point of the analogy. So guys, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this breakthrough moment, and that's why I share the formula. I want to end this off with a story time where I had an interaction with a male who really just wanted to point out to me that I am absolutely so incapable of being compassionate towards others with their suffering. And I feel like it was a pivotal point to get to this place where I really do see now I get it. But at the time I didn't get it. I wasn't there yet. So here we go. It was a couple of weeks ago, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was staying in a community kind of Airbnb style thing. We had a couple of little homes and there was a bunch of people like staying there. I was the only female, but I was with the males. And they smoked cigarettes, they smoked weed, they ate whatever. They were just kind of just like free, like in that regard. Whereas me, I have this standard, I just hate cigarettes, I hate weed. I'm growing, right? I'm becoming more open to holding space for other people and just being okay. Because with being okay inside in those type of spaces, even though it's not how I would live, and that's why I actually came here and things got a lot better for me. But at the time, I was really struggling because I felt so much animosity towards this individual. Because for this specific man, he was very cute, but he made me feel as if I couldn't help him with what he was going through, because what he was going through was something that I was against, which was addiction. And which was the suffering that comes from an addiction, and not being aware of that in myself and having compassion towards that within myself, where I felt the need to say like, hey, I'm not asking for your moralization here, okay? So it goes like this. I'm so off track. I'm so off track here. He smoke cigarettes or whatever. I had some interactions with him and talked to him and just, can you keep the noise down because it's kind of loud here. I was already from the start, like trying to communicate some of my standards and boundaries just so I could have a healthy experience. But it's a challenge when you're living with a group of people that have been doing things a certain way. I'm sure we all relate to that. And then you come in and you have this way of living and you're just like, hello, plop, plop, plop. Right? So this could create some things. But one of the nights, and hold on, my camera is gonna die. So one of the nights I was talking to one of the other males there, and we were talking, and it was just like, blah, 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 blah. And through the flow, I said something that was pretty offensive towards him. Okay, so he came out of the room and acknowledged this. He was showing emotion. He was acknowledging this to me. And I apologized. I'll tell you what I said, don't worry. I apologized. And I thought it was done. I held space for him. I allowed for him to be seen. I allowed for his emotions to be expressed. I shared my apology. I understood why he felt that way, and then it moved on. But it wasn't done. So this is what I basically said. I was talking to the male, and I was like, this is the thing with addicts. It's just like you went from doing cocaine or alcoholism, but then you're smoking nicotine. This is just as addictive. So you're still an addict. You still didn't get clean. This is so addictive, these nicotine joints. And I was expressing my hate towards nicotine, not addiction or people that go through addicts. My hate towards nicotine in general. I just hate things that ruin people's lives, that take control over their minds. And so from my perspective, I was just sharing that truth. And I was talking to somebody. I was like, nicotine is an addiction. And I hate cigarettes and this type of thing. And the guy came out and showed his offense, and he was really upset. And he basically, I'm not going to describe really, because I can't really, he was just like, it's not right for you to make fun of addicts in that way, and then all this stuff. And he's like, hell yeah, I'm an addict. And then he went and started to smoke more. And so, and then he wanted to go smoke more and all of this. And throughout the journey, and like I shared with you, I held space for him. I apologized and all this. Throughout the journey, he and me and another member clashed heads because they were smoking cigarettes or they had loud music on, and it was a very thin wall, and I was cooking and all my food's there. And I personally, I didn't grow up in that I didn't grow up with cigarettes. Loud people, yes, but cigarettes, no. And I just didn't want weed and cigarettes in my space while I'm smoking. So we got into it a lot. Like, I would share this, and then they would come in with the offense. And this man, this is why I'm sharing this story. This man kept on saying to me, as a healer, you shouldn't be this way, or you shouldn't act this way. You should have more understanding. And he kept saying that as a healer and moralizing me in this way. And he said that probably like 3 times. I said to him by the end, I was like, enough telling me this. Like, I heard you 3 times. We don't have to keep on going about this. Okay, you hold your position. I understand. You're in the situation that you're in. I get it. Okay, I'm not trying to change you. But what I was failing to miss, okay, because I had to go through my own healing there around empathy and like standing in my own soul's power without becoming the environment, okay? So I went through that journey. But what I realized through this journey of facing my own self-destruction, I can see where he was pointing to when he was telling me that. It was feedback. It was a feedback thing. Not only is it feedback when people tell you this, it's helpful because you can heal it then. I wasn't able to heal it then, but I can heal it now. And so, I was able to release that on I was really able to release that on my soul because I see, I was able to get it a little bit more after this experience. So I share that. Besides that, I felt like a lot of the time I wasn't able to see how I was making people feel bad about who they are. And people would say that I just could not see how I was doing that until I started to feel into that suffering. And so, I don't know, I just have compassion for both sides. And that's it. I want to get better at storytelling and sharing content, so continue with me on this journey. I mentioned this in my last video that the founding student rate for the course, for the Feminine Soul Path, the Intuitive Path course, is still active. So if you're interested in that path, if you're interested in working with me in general, there's going to be the coaching link, but I'm talking more about the course itself, and the container is really built for women who are walking this healing path, this intuitive healing path, and coming into their highest alignment. I would say their highest, not even timeline. Such a spiritual stuff, spiritual wordies. It's more like truth, like a living in autonomy, living in the truth, breaking free from the standard model that didn't allow for you to align with your intuition and your path, and then coming into that and just liberating yourself in every single area of your ecosystem, of your life, through your intuition, through your guidance, through your truth. Like, come fucking on, it's so good. All right, so founding student, comment first 3, we'll get the discount, and then the rest, it's gonna be full price. And I love it. I just can't wait to just with you guys, okay? So I'll see you there, I'll see you then, and have a great afternoon, and I'll see you in the next YouTube video as well. I'm like on a roll. Okay, bye.